This is Sanxion on the Commodore 64, another shooter by Thalamus, and this one was developed by Stavros Fasoulas. I hope that's how you say his name. He also programmed Delta, and I'll have a video for that one coming up after this one. I kind of wanted to do this trilogy of Thalamus shooters, Sanxion, Delta and Armalite. Now, they weren't really sequels as such to each other, but in general there is sort of that, well, they're just shooters by Thalamus basically, but I just wanted to sort of put them all together in a little trilogy because they're just horizontally scrolling shooters. There is a trace of DNA throughout each one, but they are very different in their own right. Now, this was another one that I had back in the day. I actually, interestingly enough, I had Armalite. I actually went out and bought Armalite separately, but Armalite also got twice because I also got it part of the Thalamus collection, which, if I remember rightly, had this, Delta, Armalite, Hunter's Moon, was it called Q-Dex? Something like that, and Hawkeye. I think there was 6 games, and some were absolutely outstanding that I really love to this day, like Hawkeye, Armalite, Hunter's Moon. I'm going to play Q-Dex again. I seem to recall that I liked it. I'm sure that's what it's called. But the Sanxion, and I think again, that's how you say it. It's either Sanxion or Sanxion. I'm sure it's Sanxion. Well, the ones that really tore me, in my opinion, the most, and this one less than Delta. Delta really tore me because, to me, there was really a lot of good ingredients there to make a great game. This one kind of feels like a prototype shooter as such, but again, there's ingredients here that could have made a really good shooter, but then it's kind of undermined by some really ridiculous design decisions, some of which are almost copied over into Delta, so you're wondering what old Stavros was thinking there with his game design choices. Visually, I think this game looks fantastic for the time that it come out. Was it 85, 86? It predates Delta and Armalite. Armalite was 88 and Delta was 87. So I'm going to say 85, 86. It'll probably say on the title screen when I eventually get back to it. But all you need, you can basically see you're a spaceship type thing. Well, not a spaceship because you're on a planet, and you're shooting things, which is great. And you know, that in itself as a concept would be okay, but there's added things in this. They've introduced the fact that the ship is affected by the gravity of the planet, so you're constantly being pulled down to the bottom of the screen. When you let go of the joypad or joystick, the ship will start to descend, which is a pain in the backside because it means you're constantly having to keep pushing back up, while you're also trying to avoid things either hitting you, being shot by bullet, things like that. And then to cap it all off, you can have missiles sent after you. Now, as you can see, the screen is split into 2 parts. The top third of the screen, which is roughly a third into it, I'd say, is like an overhead radar, whereas the bottom part is the main play area. Now, the top half essentially serves to give you some kind of warning where a missile comes. And just by the way, right there, blocks of instant death that are hard to avoid, very familiar to what you'll see happen in Delta. Again, I don't know why you would put that in a game where control of your ship is compromised by gravity. You don't really want a memory test like that. I think you can shoot them, but they take multiple hits. So you just end up having all your lives sort of taken off you. Interestingly enough, I encountered something of a glitch here, and I don't know whether it's to do with the ROM, but I seem to accrue quite a number of lives in this section. Despite dying a lot, I seem to get quite a few points, which inflated my lives, and I don't know whether that's... I don't ever recall that being a glitch in the original game. It may have been. Not that it makes too much difference, because you will lose a lot of lives very surely anyway. But yeah, the top part serves to show you a missile is coming, although it's useless because it doesn't show you altitude. It doesn't show you the altitude of your ship. That's on the bottom part. Now the missile can be any altitude, so you have to be mindful of that. And also at the same time, you got to look out for bullets coming the other way, the patterns things move, your ship is quite slow and unresponsive, and it's one of them games where you just think, why did they do that? It could have been a great game, but for just remove the radar at the top. I mean, there I suppose you can see there are ships coming behind, but again, it doesn't serve too much in the way of helping you avoid them. And it just confuses things. You see, your eyes being drawn away from the main play area, and yeah, it just irritates. And like I say, you get an audio cue when a missile is going to come anyway, so it doesn't really help too much in any sense apart from compress the play area and make it just that little bit more frustrating to play. I wonder if they tested the game, when he tested the game, Stavros originally was too easy, so he just introduced elements in that would make it more difficult. I don't know. The other thing as well is I never got to a point with this where I actually got a weapon power up, so I don't know, I can't say for certain whether they exist or not, but I don't think they do, which I suppose, with it being an earlier shooter, that's not too much of a problem. But the music again was done by Rob Hubbard in this. However, the best piece of music is not in the game itself. It's actually the loading music was absolutely fantastic for this game. It's one of his best pieces, in my opinion. It's certainly up there with the Delta music. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoy listening to, but unfortunately, because this is a disc based ROM, didn't have the loading music in, so that's that. But I like the in-game sound. I like the sort of hum, the very low hum that your ship makes that becomes louder as you accelerate and quieter as you decelerate. I quite like that concept. So there are good ideas in it. There is a good game there, but again, like Delta, it's just too frustrating really for you to gain any kind of enjoyment out of it as such. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more to come.